Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Conscious Life Expo. You're in Los Angeles, California. How you doing? Fantastic. What a wonderful day we've been having. The Conscious Life Expo is the preeminent expo featuring holistic health, spirituality, the esoteric, personal growth, and more importantly, metaphysics and UFOs. Something that applies directly to you each and every day. Today we have a very, very interesting presentation that I think is going to take you to a new place of consciousness and understanding about how UFOs and extraterrestrials relate to you. You are a part of them. We are not alone. It is true. I'm talking about Dr. Stephen Greer. Give me a big hand. Dr. Greer is the founder of CSETI. He is the founder of the Disclosure Project. His best books here, Hidden Truth, Forbidden Knowledge, Disclosure, and Extraterrestrial Contact are bestsellers. Nothing more be said. Brace for impact. This is Stephen Greer.
My own radar start picking up items going 3,000-4,000 miles an hour in this area.
But I do remember speeds in excess of 4,000 to 5,000 miles an hour.
And he said it was traveling 10,000 miles plus.
And they were going somewhere in the neighborhood of 11 to 14,000 miles an hour.
They covered the distance from Columbus to Detroit in something like equivalent of about 20,000 miles an hour.
And I heard a couple women there in the Air Force talking about aircraft flying in and out of the atmosphere at Mach 10 plus.
It's not an infrequent occurrence there. They happen quite often.
There were probably 1,500 reported cases at that time.
I have over 3,000 cases now.
They estimated 100 yards from the left wing was this 100-foot disc.
And the strength of the signal was as strong as the surface contact on the water of an aircraft carrier. This contact was huge.
The size of these objects around 100 meters or greater.
So it would go from 1 o'clock, 7 or 8 miles to 6, 7 o'clock, 7 or 8 miles inside of 4 or 5 seconds. You have to be moving pretty quickly. They could rise, just go straight up. They could do that. It seemed like instantaneous. Once they started moving, they went straight up, for a while, and then they went zap. Then it just sort of disappeared. It dematerialized and left the atmosphere. Just was gone. It just took off into space. It just left at high speed.
He said, you are never to speak of this again. As far as you're concerned, this never happened.
And you never saw this, and I don't exist, and this situation never happened.
I didn't want to look at it any longer than that because I felt that my life was in jeopardy.
So I was beaten, literally hitting in the ribs and pushed, and I was resisting. And I know Sergeant Basinza was doing the same thing.
Measures have been taken by agencies to terminate people who appear to be inconvenient or troublesome if you're knowing too much.
A shadowy government with its own Air Force, its own Navy, its fundraising mechanism, and the ability to pursue its own ideas of the national interest, free from all checks and balances, and free from the law itself.
I am prepared to state that I have been at locations where craft of unknown origin that did not originate on the face of this planet was there. I am prepared to state that while I was there, we saw living, dead bodies, entities that were not born on this planet.
My name is Dr. Stephen Greer. I am the director of the Disclosure Project.
Thank you.
You'll need project study the project.
I want to show just a couple minutes of the Disclosure Project DVD that we have. of some of the military guys and their experiences with this subject. We have now over 500 of these folks, top secret clearances, most of them, and who have come forward to tell the world the truth about this, at least to the extent that these objects exist. They're of extraterrestrial origin, some of them. Some of them are made by Lockheed and Northrop and covert programs. But the whole matter is of the utmost importance, not just to the world of, we have a reverberation in here, but is it me? Not just to the fact that they're real and they're technological, but to what it means. And this is what we're going to spend the next couple hours doing, is what's the meaning behind all of this? Why are they here? What are we to do about it? But first I want to ask you guys, how many people were in the lecture that I gave this afternoon? Oh, well, how many weren't? Maybe that's easier. Well, we're not going to go back over all that. It was a lot, actually. Have most people here seen the books or read the books and whatnot? So I don't want to go back through how many people are completely new to what we're doing? That gives me an idea. Very few. Okay, good. So you guys will just kind of like go to a non-local level of consciousness and catch up on all that of the linear space-time continuum, and then that'll be fine. But you know, this has been quite a journey for me, and really this most recent book that I wrote, which took a really deep breath to see if I wanted to do, it's called Hidden Truth, Forbidden Knowledge, which is really what I want to go into. I want to go into the hidden truth and the forbidden knowledge behind this subject. And it's not what you're going to hear in other places. And it, in a sense, is a memoir, but it's a way of telling a message. And it's a message that's actually one of enormous hope. Because we live in a time where, on the one hand, there's the old world dying. And you can get very wrapped up in that. But it's kind of taking its last gasps. But what we're really about here is the creation of a new world. And it is an entirely new time. And our civilization is going through a period where we are going to, like it's a metamorphosis, butterfly emerging. And we are going to see a civilization on this planet that will no more resemble the current world than we resemble the era of cavemen. And we're not talking thousands of years. We're talking dozens to a few hundred years, and maybe sooner than that. But the basis of it all is in the consciousness of the people and the consciousness of each of us as we find our way to manifest that good future. And we're going to manifest that good future in our meditation and in our actions. When I was a young child, and my uncle was building the lunar module that put the first man on the moon, I had an experience where I saw one of these objects that was moving like these folks talk about, hovering and then vanished. And didn't just move off, it dematerialized and was gone. And you have to say, well, where did it go? People say, well, into another dimension, but that doesn't really explain anything. We'll get into this in some depth today and more depth tomorrow. Because our civilization is moving towards an understanding that will reach parity, equality with these cosmic civilizations. And at the end of this 500,000-year cycle that we've entered, this civilization on Earth will be a God-conscious, enlightened, high-tech, interstellar civilization, where even the manifestations of our technology are all empowered with pure consciousness. And that's what you encounter when you come on these expeditions out to the desert. This story, for many people, gets to be a bit overwhelming. And so I'm going to try to just take it in pieces so that we can kind of digest it and not get cosmic indigestion. But the starting point of it is the understanding of the nature of mind. And the nature of mind is that it is a non-local, omnipresent field of awakeness. Every single person's conscious being is infinite. And the essence of of that is the objective